Hey there everyone, it's Cassie. Welcome back for another Trinity Stamps video. Today we're going to be making a slimline card and we're combining products. So I have this adorable You Lift Me Up stamp along with the So Appreciative stamps and dies. So we're going to use both the dies from this You Lift Me Up and So Appreciative. Love that I have those matching dies for that. We're also going to be using the butterflies from the new one called Spring in My Step, and we've got the dies for that one as well. Then we have the bunch of balloon dies, and then we also have the layered palm tree stencil. I'm just going to use one of the stencils in there for some ground, but this is a great stencil for scene building, especially for those summer cards we may be making here very soon. But to start off, I took the second largest balloon and cut that out of a scrap of watercolor paper that I have. You'll see that it's a scrap because it has some stuff stamped on the back. But I'm going to use my Distress Oxide sprays. I know a balloon wouldn't look like this, but I have just been loving my Distress Oxide sprays recently. So I sprayed this onto this nonstick surface, and then I'm just going to pounce my balloon right into it and mix those two colors. Those two colors were Mermaid Lagoon and Cracked Pistachio. I'm going to heat set that, and then we're going to pounce it a few more times into what we have left over on that mat and just keep drying in between. And then when I'm happy with it, which I love that. Like I said, I know a balloon wouldn't look like that, but I don't care. I love it. I'm going to bring in my Distress Oxide ink. This is the Evergreen BOUGH, and I'm just kind of putting that with my blender buddies on the edge so that we have a little less white. And then because I am absolutely obsessed with the Trinity Stamps Gold Palette, I have been using it on pretty much every card for some splatter. I'm going to splatter that all over my balloon. You can't see a whole lot here, but I will bring it up to the camera so that you can take a look at that delicious splatter that's all over that. We're not going to put that palette away too much because I am going to use it again. But check it out. Oh my gosh, I just love that. Love it. All right, to save a little time, I had already stamped out all of my images onto some Copic friendly cardstock, and I stamped that out using some blackout ink by Ink on 3. And then we're going to start stamping our stamp from the So Appreciative stamp set. I color all of these basically the same, it seems. I like to put down a wash of a lighter color on each of the words. So for this one, we've got our RV6. And I'm using that all over the word thanks. And then I love to just do the ombre. I know, if you've watched me at all, I do this pretty much all the time. But like I said, it's my favorite way to color these. I'm also going to color one of the butterflies with that same color. So we've got him with some RV6. And then I'm going to bring in that darker R89 and flick that up so that we have a little bit of an ombre look going. It's darker on the bottom, lighter on the top. And I will add a little bit of shadowing and shading to our butterfly and also the hearts. I love that sentiment that says thanks for being you. I mean, how cool is that? I can think of pretty much all of my friends that I would love to send that to because I love that they are who they are. All right, I'm bringing in some yellows. We've got Y21. And then I'm going to bring in a darker shade. I believe it's Y38, and that will be the shade that I use just to do a little bit of darkening up. And just putting some shadowing and shading where I think it might be. It's not, probably not accurate, but I like it. And then we'll bring in some YR14 for the word you. And then again, we're going to do that ombre look with that as well. And then our last butterfly will be colored with that also. I figured with that beautiful blue-green balloon in the background, these butterflies and these words would really pop using some warmer colors. All right, then we also have some YR18, and then we'll go on to coloring and you can almost not see this by using the E40 on those butterflies, but now we're going to color our bear. I'm starting with some E99. I'm going to color that all over his entire little face and body, leaving his nose open because I'll color that with some warm grays. And then I'm going to bring in some E37. That will be our darker shade for our bear. And again, just putting some shadowing and shading where I think it might look good. And then we've got W7 and W9 for his little nose. And then our next step would be to take all of the matching dies that go with these sets and then run these through my die cutting machine, but I'm just tacking all those down with a little bit of washi tape. All right, now I got to build my scene. This is going to be a slimline, so this panel measures 3.5 inches by 8.5 inches. I'm going to take the palm tree, the bottom, and use a little ground espresso distress oxide ink and blend that down at the bottom. And then here's where we're going to bring in that Trinity gold palette again, and we're going to use the yellow gold color in there. Like I said, I use this palette all the time. It is amazing, and I love to splatter. And with a big giant white background like that, I figured this would just be one beautiful way to add a little something to that background. I put some foam tape on the back of our words, and then I'm just going to peel all that off, and that's going to go on top of our balloon. And then I want to add some twine to this, so I've just cut a piece of twine. I'm going to use a little piece of washi tape to attach it to the back of our balloon. Sorry, I'm off screen here. But then I'm going to wind it around where the bottom of the balloon would be and have that coming out the back and the bottom. So it looks like it's actually tied to that balloon, but I didn't actually have to tie anything. And then I'll take some liquid glue on the back of our balloon, and then that will just be attached right down. You could put some more foam tape if you wanted to, but I just decided to leave it as is since we already put our words up with some foam tape. And then I am going to take our bear, because I want to attach the string to our little bear's hand. I'm going to put some foam tape on the back of him, and then I'll peel off that release paper, and that is going to wind around his back. So we'll just peel off that release paper, position our little guy where we want him, and then the string will go behind him and stick to that foam tape, and then it'll be attached that way once I attach it to the grounding. We'll have a little bit of that hanging out the back side of our bear, so we're going to trim that off. And look at that, he's so stinking cute. But then we want to add our butterflies, and so I'll just glue those down. I thought about using some foam tape, but we're going to go ahead and just glue those down. And then we're going to move on to doing some stamping on the inside of our card base once we get that cut and ready to go. So our card base measures 7 inches by 8.5 inches, and that will need to be scored at 3.5 inches. And that's the typical size I make for slimline cards. I know there isn't really necessarily a set size, but that's what I do. We'll bring in some Twiggy Brown by Ink on 3, and I'm going to stamp the other bear from the You Lift Me Up stamp set. We'll stamp the string around his little waist using some blackout ink, and then the other string that would be tied to him, that's going to be stamped the same with that blackout ink. And then I'm going to bring in some Trinity Teal for the balloon. And then we're going to stamp a sentiment from the So Appreciative stamp set that says, "You're the best." All right, now we can attach our card panel to our card base, so I'll just do that with more liquid glue. And then once that is on there, that's going to finish off our card for today. I love how this turned out. So much fun. I love combining my stamps. So if you liked this video, be sure to hit that like button and consider subscribing if you haven't already done so. And be sure to check out all that Trinity Stamps has going on their Facebook page, Instagram, and their blog. And as always, thank you so much for stopping by, and I will see you very soon in another video. Bye, everybody.